How George W. Bush got done what George W. Bush got done. And again, not a big fan of a lot of the stuff he did. Barack Obama had like 59 senators and a majority in 09 and 10 and has had a lot more of an advantage than George W. Bush. What have we got? What have we got done?
Is this a tactical issue? Is it a personality issue? What are the differences between those two administrations and their ability to get things done in a Congress where they don't have a majority?
Well, I don't want to sound partisan, but I guess I can because, again, I'm not a huge fan of what George W. Bush did over 8 years, but Barack Obama's an amateur. He doesn't know how to work Washington. He doesn't know. And by the way, all of these Republican freshman senators that think they're ready to be president of the United States that just got to Washington, D.C., whether you're talking about Marco, who I like, or Ted Cruz, or Rand Paul, these guys are all amateurs too. They're not ready for prime time.
I think she's recording you. It's going to be played back on YouTube.
I would never.
No, but the thing is, we went in and we spoke with the president for about an hour and a half before the election.
That was off the record. Do you know what that means?
It means that, okay, so we were talking to this guy in Washington, and Mika asked him, why don't you have more Republicans and their families over to your house?
Share your conversations.
This guy lives in a big house. To your house and do what they used to do in Washington. He said, well, I don't need to socialize, and really, I work till 6 o'clock, and then I go upstairs and hang out with my kids.
So
really?
Well,
I mean, you gotta work it, man. You gotta work it.
Absolutely, he's absolutely right, because relationships are so important. And I remember that I took the legislative leaders in, and we flew around with the jet. We took them to Washington, to our meetings, to the governor's meeting, meet with the legislators back there to get more federal money for our state, and all of this stuff. We had them over at the house, at the Christmas parties, the smoking tent. I remember even when Tony Blair was in town talking to me about the environment, because we wanted to do the cap and trade and the reducing our greenhouse gases, and they've done it successfully in Europe. And I took Speaker Nunes with me. Even though he wasn't even invited to that meeting, I took him. He was a Democrat. He was the Democratic leader, because I knew that I needed to go and work with him to get the environmental agenda all accomplished, to go and reduce the tailpipe emissions, to have the Million Solar Roof Initiative, to have the green